So here, dear, I was just saying to my mammy at a wee cup of tea the other night, says that's wonderful, it says the people is connected with education. Like, for my mammy's well up, she's well read. My mammy asked my mammy when any queen was crowned, or who married who, or who died. You can rhyme them all off, and who left who, and all that. So there is a lot of people connected with education, like when you think of it. Like for Mrs. O'Condriac, maybe scrubbing the school out till the very highest professor in the Queen's University. And I came in the other night and says, hello, mammy. She says, shush, my mammy says, shush. I wouldn't disturb her, for she's fascinated with the television. Of course, the BBC, naturally. Channels 1 and Channels 2. My mammy has her 2 channels, and she marks the radio times and all. Well, there was this discussion on education. Of course, you don't speak when she's listening, for she digests it all. And they were discussing this thing on the television, and my mammy and me was fascinated.
Ravarama has from time to time had many interesting discussions, and I think tonight tops them all. Tonight we're going to skirt round, skid by, and generally discuss the question of education. Now, education has come under fire recently from many quarters, and as a result of that, we brought a panel into the studio, a very distinguished panel indeed, and I'm very glad to welcome to the studio someone whose face and voice indeed is very familiar to you all. It's Mr. Billy Hulk. He is chairman for the propagation of non-labour. Good evening. We also have a Mrs. Mary O'Reilly, and very, very highly distinguished indeed. She is at present president of the Theatrical Catholic France Society. We also have Mr. Hiram Diefenhofer coming to us on exchange to Northern Ireland from one of the most distinguished universities from America. And, of course, well known in all circles, indeed, for her part in demonstration. She's always at the front, as you have seen in any television clip of news that we have seen, is that staunch woman of faith and loyalty. Mrs. Lily Banner, she's the chairman of the Sandy Row Protestant Defence Culture Association.
Good evening.
Mr. Hulk, you're a very knowledgeable man on many subjects. Indeed, you have figured heavily in many to dispute. Have you something to offer here? What is your views exactly on education?
Well, as regards my opinion, I would say that the educational system in this particular country is definitely defective. There is no doubt about it. I mean, I speak as an ordinary common 5'8", and I'm not ashamed of that. Tonight we are surrounded by so-called intellectuals, and theatrical people and all them personal rubbish. Well, I would say, like, I am not highly versed in the theatre. We have Mrs. O'Reilly here tonight, and she has a theatre. Well, I have never been to your theatre, only once. And it's occasion I never forget, because it was in her theatre here that I met the wife. I couldn't very well avoid her, like, because we were the only 2 in the audience. I work for the firm of Harry Smith Textile Companies. I'm not allowed to mention the name of the owner on this particular programme by being BBC. Every time I went to see the gentleman what owned the factory, I was proud that there was a deficiency of £200,000 a year. That was written down every year as a loss for the last 15 years. Well, I must say now that there's something wrong with that man's education, because I would like to know how he is losing £200,000 a year and is able still to buy 7 Rolls Royces every year for the chairman and his board of directors. I mean, there's something wrong. There's something definitely wrong.
It would appear that money is education and education is money, so there's a tie here somewhere. Mrs. O'Reilly, associated as you are with the theatre, do you think there's a possible link between the theatre and education, or education and the theatre?
Personally, I had a very good education. I was taught in the convent by the blessed nuns in Mullingar. A marvellous Reverend Mother. All I know, she taught me in Gaelic. I think it's a pagan language we have in the north. Every child should be taught to speak Gaelic, and no English should be used at all. Listen, you, if they teach them nothing but Gaelic in schools and no English at all, sure their fathers and their mothers wouldn't know one bloody word the child was saying. And wouldn't that be the blessed day for Ireland? If Mrs. O'Reilly thinks it's so bloody good in Mullingar, let her go back there. What the hell's she doing up here? Away back to Mullingar among the rest of the heifers. Talking about education, I'm in front of the educational system in Northern Ireland at the present time. They forgot that Ulster is British. I had a wee niece of my own in the all night, a couple of drinks, a bit of a jollification. There's no harm in that these days. You get little pleasure anywhere, I'm telling you. And we're having a wee bit of a tune and all that, and the child was asked up to sing the sash. One wee girl from Carrickfergus, she didn't know a word of the sash my father wore. I was a front to give me a red face in front of my women in the lodge, so she did. And the daddy had to take her into the scullery and teach it, tell her. Is that what this country's come and tell? That no child knows bro party tunes, no child knows nothing, and so we'll be in the common market so well. And the Italians will be coming over and singing God knows what, the language that nobody understands. Forget about your reading and your writing, your arithmetic. Teach the children of the bar the Protestant songs. For God help Mr. Paisley when he comes back from America and strikes up the sash, or the Protestant boys not one child in his audience or his congregation know a bloody word he's singing so not.
No wonder they have to write what they mean on gable walls, the like of you about.
Mr. Tiefenhofer, you're probably better qualified to comment here than anyone else as an outsider coming, as it were, from the United States of America. What is your personal opinion of our educational system here?
Well, I don't think about it at all. Never, ever.
Oh, what subject exactly are you studying at Queen's University?
I'm studying sums, arithmetic, you know, lolly, money.
And then what would you do in the event of your not getting your degree? If you fail in all subjects, what really would you take up, as it were?
Well, if I don't ever get a degree and I come out without any qualifications at all, I'll just take advantage of the situation here, and if I'm just called stupid, I'll go straight into politics.
The previous speaker had very little to say. He's a man of few words, but then, of course, he's a sensible American. And wasn't it the Irish that founded that beautiful country? He believes in our own slogan, silence is gold.
They're German, please. I come here to mouth.
You're trying to shut it in iron for too long.
They're my point of
No
view.
wonder they have to write what they mean on gable walls.
I don't believe that the
like you
politics
about.
you have brought them.
Silence is golden.
Well,
It's a gaily.
Don't have to why. I speak for the people. I speak for the people.
Now, time is running out. Summing up quickly, it seems that education is a marvellous thing. We are all agreed, and I am personally delighted that I had a very good education and am a person of culture, but nevertheless, that doesn't excuse the fact that the clack has beaten us. So from all of us here, in a nutshell, it seems to be whether it's do, re, mi, or ABC, the main thing is to teach. Until this time next week, good night.